Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English podcast.
How to stay strong when life gets hard. Learn English through an inspired story by Mr. Jack Ma. This topic is written for making it simple and powerful for English learners. You will practice listening, improve your vocabulary, and understand motivational ideas at the same time. Let's start. Good morning, everyone. Life is not always fair. There will be days when nothing goes the way you planned. People will disappoint you, opportunities will slip away, and failures will knock you down. In those moments, talent is not enough. Luck is not enough. And even motivation will not save you. What keeps you standing when everything else collapses are your habits. Habits are the silent power that decide whether you give up or keep going. If you build the right habits, you become unshakable. No matter how hard life becomes, those habits will protect your mind, fuel your actions, and keep you strong until the storm passes. Consistency is greater than motivation, because motivation is temporary. Anyone can feel excited in the beginning, when the vision is clear and the dream feels close, but the truth is, excitement fades. There will be mornings when you don't want to get up, days when you don't feel like working, and nights when your mind tells you to quit. If you depend only on motivation, you will stop as soon as life gets heavy. That is why consistency is the real foundation of strength. It is the habit of showing up every single day, no matter what, that creates lasting results and resilience. When life becomes difficult, consistency is like a lifeline. Imagine a storm in the ocean. The waves are high, the winds are strong, and everything feels unstable. Motivation in that moment is like a small boot tossed around by the waves. It cannot survive for long. Consistency, however, is like an anchor. It holds you steady when circumstances are out of control. Every small step you take, repeated again and again, becomes the chain that keeps you grounded. You may not see immediate results, but over time, those consistent actions build the strength to outlast the storm. The problem many people face is that they look for quick results. They start something new with energy, but as soon as the path gets hard or progress slows down, they stop. They think they failed when in reality they just didn't stay long enough for the results to come. Success is not built on a single breakthrough moment. It is built on habits done quietly and consistently when nobody is watching. The greatest achievements in life are not the result of bursts of energy, but of persistence maintained in silence. Think about the process of training the body. One workout will not make you strong. Even 10 workouts will not make you unshakable. But if you commit to exercising every day, even when you feel tired, even when it rains, even when nobody claps for you, then over months and years the results become visible. Your strength, your health, your energy, all come from consistency. The same principle applies to business, to learning, to relationships, and to every other part of life. Motivation can start the journey, but only consistency will finish it. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. When you keep promises to yourself day after day, you prove that you can rely on your own word. That self-trust is priceless in hard times. Many people collapse under pressure not because the problem is too big, but because deep down they don't trust themselves to handle it. They gave up on themselves too many times before, so when life tests them, they break. But if you have lived with consistent habits, you carry the evidence of your own discipline. You remember all the days you showed up when it was uncomfortable. That memory strengthens you, and it tells you that you can push through again. Another truth about consistency is that it creates momentum. At first, keeping a habit feels heavy. The resistance is strong, the progress feels slow. But the more you repeat the action, the easier it becomes. Eventually, what was once difficult becomes natural. Waking up early, working with focus, staying disciplined, these things transform from effort into identity. That is the hidden power of consistency. It doesn't just change your actions, it changes who you are. When something becomes part of your identity, you no longer have to fight for it. It becomes automatic. And in the toughest seasons of life, that automatic discipline becomes your advantage. Some people wait for the perfect moment to act. They say they will start when they feel ready, when they feel motivated, or when circumstances improve. The truth is that moment never comes. Life will always be busy, there will always be problems, and you will never feel 100% ready. The habit of consistency means you act even when conditions are not ideal. You show up even when you are tired, even when you are unsure, even when the environment is against you. That discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. When you look closely at the people who stay strong during hard times, you notice that they are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. Often, they are simply the most consistent. They built routines that kept them moving forward one step at a time. When failure came, they didn't collapse because their habits carried them. When rejection came, they didn't lose direction because their routines reminded them of who they are. Consistency turned them into people who could not be broken easily. Consistency also teaches patience. In a world where everyone wants results instantly, patience is rare. But when you practice daily habits, you learn that growth takes time. You stop looking for quick fixes and start valuing long-term progress. This mindset is essential in difficult times because challenges are rarely solved overnight. They require steady effort day after day until the situation changes. Patience combined with consistency gives you the endurance to keep walking when the path feels endless. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is that it compounds. Just as money grows through compound interest, your efforts grow through repeated habits. Reading 1 page a day doesn't seem like much, but in a year, it becomes hundreds of pages. Saving a small amount daily doesn't feel significant, but over time, it builds wealth. Practicing a skill for 15 minutes a day may look minor, but in months and years, it creates mastery. This compounding effect means that the small, consistent actions you take during hard times prepare you for opportunities in the future. What feels invisible today becomes undeniable tomorrow. Consistency also protects you from emotional ups and downs. Emotions are temporary. Some days you feel inspired. Other days you feel hopeless. If your actions depend on emotions, your results will be unstable. But if your actions depend on habits, then your progress remains steady regardless of how you feel. Habits create stability in an unstable world. They give you something reliable to hold on to when everything else is uncertain. In the end, the strength to stay strong in hard times does not come from motivation, luck, or inspiration. It comes from what you do every single day. It comes from the discipline to repeat small actions until they become part of your identity. Consistency is not exciting. It is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the difference between giving up and breaking through. If you want to stay strong when life gets hard, don't chase motivation. Build unbreakable habits. Stay consistent and let those habits carry you through every storm until the sun shines again. Discipline builds inner strength because it forces you to do what is necessary even when you don't feel like it. Life does not always give you choices that are comfortable. Sometimes the only way forward is through pain, sacrifice, and hard work that nobody sees. Motivation may get you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving when every part of you wants to stop. It is the invisible power that shapes your character and gives you control over yourself. Without discipline, you become a slave to your feelings, and feelings are the weakest foundation to rely on during hard times. With discipline, you gain the ability to command yourself, and that is where true strength begins. The real test of discipline comes when life is unfair. Anyone can stay positive. When people doubt you, when the weight of failure presses on your chest, discipline decides whether you stand or collapse. It is not about talent, not about intelligence, but about whether you can force yourself to keep doing the right thing even when you don't want to. That ability creates a kind of inner armor. Discipline becomes the shield that protects you against fear, doubt, and laziness. Think of discipline as training the mind in the same way you train the body. Each time you choose to do something hard, you strengthen your mental muscles, waking up early when you want to sleep in, working when you want to rest, controlling your words when you want to explode. These are small victories that add up. Over time, they build resilience, just like lifting weights in the gym creates physical strength. Carrying out disciplined actions in daily life creates inner power. When the storm comes, that power becomes your greatest weapon. People often think discipline means punishment or suffering, but it is actually freedom. Without discipline, you are controlled by impulses, emotions, and distractions. You eat what you shouldn't. You spend time where you shouldn't. You give in to the easy path. In the short term, it feels good, but in the long term, it makes you weak. Discipline frees you from that cycle. It allows you to choose the hard path today so that tomorrow becomes easier. That freedom is strength because you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the one in control. There will always be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Discipline is the voice inside that says, "Not today." It is the reminder that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. When you learn to listen to that voice and act on it, you become someone who can endure what others cannot. That endurance is not about ignoring pain. It is about accepting it as part of growth. Discipline teaches you that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. Each sacrifice, each uncomfortable choice, each act of self-control is a lesson that prepares you for the next challenge. Discipline also gives you clarity. In hard times, emotions create confusion. Fear tells you to run. Anger tells you to fight blindly. Doubt tells you to give up. But discipline cuts through that noise. It tells you to stick to the plan, to focus on the process, to take the next step, regardless of feelings. That clarity is what allows you to keep moving even when you cannot see the full path. You don't need to know how the journey will end. You only need the discipline to keep walking forward one step at a time. Another truth about discipline is that it builds respect for yourself. Many people lose confidence not because others doubt them, but because they break their own promises. Every time you say you will do something but fail to do it, you lose trust in yourself. Over time, that creates weakness because deep inside you know your words have no weight. Discipline fixes that. When you live with discipline, your actions match your words. You follow through. You prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That respect you build with yourself becomes unshakable confidence, and confidence is one of the strongest shields in difficult times. The connection between discipline and success is undeniable. Every achievement, big or small, is the result of consistent discipline. Athletes train daily, even when their bodies ache. Entrepreneurs work tirelessly, even when profits are uncertain. Students study relentlessly, even when the subject feels boring. Behind every success story is a foundation of discipline that nobody applauded. Discipline is rarely seen by others, but its results are always visible. When life gets hard, discipline stops you from making excuses. It forces you to accept responsibility instead of blaming others. Excuses are comforting in the moment, but they weaken you over time. Responsibility is heavy, but it strengthens you. Discipline trains you to carry that weight with pride. It whispers, "Do it anyway," when the world gives you every reason not to. That habit of doing what needs to be done without delay and without complaint is what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. There is also a deep peace that comes with discipline. At first, it feels restrictive, like rules that take away your freedom. But once you embrace it, you discover the opposite. A disciplined life removes chaos. It gives you order, structure, and stability. When challenges arrive, you don't panic because you already have systems in place. You know how to respond because you have trained yourself for this moment. That peace is strength because it allows you to remain calm when others lose control. Discipline is also contagious. When people see your consistency, your control, and your commitment, they are inspired to do the same. Your discipline becomes an example that influences others around you. In tough situations, this influence is powerful. Teams, families, and communities look for someone strong to follow. If you carry yourself with discipline, you become that source of strength. You not only build resilience for yourself, but also for those who depend on you. Ultimately, discipline builds inner strength because it transforms you into someone who cannot be broken easily. It prepares you for hardship before it arrives. It gives you control over your actions, respect for yourself, and peace in the middle of chaos. Motivation will fade, circumstances will change, and emotions will rise and fall. But discipline remains steady. It becomes the unshakable foundation that keeps you strong when everything else is uncertain. In the silence of your daily choices, when nobody is watching, you are building the kind of strength that will carry you through any battle life throws your way. Adaptivity creates resilience. because life is never predictable. Plans fall apart, markets change, people leave, and unexpected problems arrive without warning. No matter how carefully you prepare, there will always be surprises that test your patience and strength. The ones who survive and grow are not the strongest or the most intelligent, but the ones who know how to adapt. When you develop the habit of flexibility, you build the ability to bend without breaking. That is the essence of resilience. Adaptivity means refusing to stay stuck in a single way of thinking. It's easy to hold on to routines, to repeat old methods, and to stay comfortable with what once worked. But when conditions shift, clinging to the past makes you weak. Strength is not about forcing the world to match your expectations. It's about adjusting yourself to match reality. When you learn to pivot quickly, you waste less time resisting change and more time finding solutions. That mindset turns problems into opportunities. Resilience grows when you stop seeing change as an enemy. Most people fear change because it feels uncertain and uncomfortable. But the truth is, change is the only constant. Seasons shift, opportunities evolve, and life keeps moving forward. If you fight against it, you exhaust yourself. If you accept it, you find new ways to grow. Adaptivity allows you to meet change with curiosity instead of fear. It trains you to ask, how can I use this? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? That simple shift in attitude is the difference between giving up and moving forward. Another reason adaptivity builds resilience is because it keeps your mind open. A rigid mindset breaks under pressure, but an open mind looks for alternatives. In tough times, solutions are rarely obvious. You may need to learn a new skill, change your strategy, or take a different path. Without adaptivity, you stay trapped in old patterns that no longer work. With adaptivity, you become creative, resourceful, and prepared to try again. Each adjustment strengthens your confidence, proving that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Adaptivity also reduces fear of failure. When you are flexible, you understand that failure is not the end, but part of the process. If one path doesn't work, you change direction. If one plan fails, you create another. This mindset makes you resilient because you are no longer afraid of obstacles. You know that you can recover, adjust, and continue moving forward. Every setback becomes training. Every challenge becomes preparation. In the end, resilience is not about never falling. It is about rising again and again. Adaptability is what makes that possible. It allows you to accept reality, adjust your approach, and keep progressing no matter what comes your way. Life will never be free of challenges, but if you develop the habit of adaptability, you will always find a way through. That flexibility, combined with discipline and consistency, makes you unbreakable in the face of uncertainty. Thank you for joining me in today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming lessons. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson.